Greetings. Welcome back to my late night spook show here on the Horror and Metal channel. I'm Hellhound, and how's about a little bonus video here on Christmas? I hope everybody's having a good holiday season. I figured I'd go ahead and list my top 5 favorite Christmas themed slasher films. So, well, let's go and get started. Number 5 is Don't Open Till Christmas. And this is a little different from some of the others in this list, in that it doesn't feature a killer Santa Claus, but rather a killer who's going around killing people dressed as Santa Claus. He's, mall Santas, department store Santas, Santas, ringing the bell, looking for charity money and stuff. Just anybody dressed as Saint Nick is going to meet a gruesome end at the hands of this killer. So, Vinegar Syndrome did a good job on this Blu-ray, and it's pretty entertaining flick. It's a whodunit as well. You don't know who the killer is till the end. I won't give it away, but it's a very weird ending. It's a pretty surreal movie, too. Very bizarre and nightmarish. But I definitely recommend you give it a watch, especially around the holidays. So, yeah, Don't Open Till Christmas. Pretty good slasher flick. Maniac killing off Santa Clauses. All right, next is To All a Good Night, which does feature a killer Santa Claus, but it's different from a couple of the others, and that is a whodunit. You don't know who the killer is. You just know that he's dressed as good old Saint Nick. So it's a mystery. You don't find out the identity of the killer till the end. And he or she may also have an accomplice as well, but I'll never tell. But yeah, To All a Good Night. Yeah, this is another pretty weird movie, but very enjoyable nonetheless. And I usually watch it around Christmas time as well. So yeah, pretty good as far as killer Santa movies go. And like I said, it's unique in that you don't know who the killer is. Unlike the next one on the list, Christmas Evil, which is about a man named Harry who is obsessed with Christmas as a youth and idolized Santa Claus, but he witnessed something horrifying that shattered his poor little innocent mind. Very similar to another movie we're going to talk about in a minute. But anyway, he's all grown up, and he's dressed as Santa, and I think he really believes that he is Santa at a lot of points, and he does actually bring presents to kids, but he also kills bad people who he deems unworthy. So yeah, he goes on a sleigh ride, and pretty enjoyable flick. Very weird ending that's open to interpretation, and some really pretty brutal kills too here and there, and but some really fun Christmas atmosphere that fits the gloomy setting like a glove. Feels like a very authentic, vintage type of holiday season. But Christmas Evil, check it out. All right, next is one that you knew had to be on the list, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I love this movie. I always have. I rented it from the video store lifetime ago and fell in love with it. Poor young Billy witnesses his parents getting murdered by a burglar wearing a Santa Claus suit when he's a kid, and then he goes to the orphanage where he's abused by the nuns there, especially Mother Superior, played by Lillian Shalvin, who's easily the scariest part of the movie. I think she's the true villain of the film in a lot of ways. Anyway, Billy grows up, gets a job at a toy store where he's unfortunately given the task to dress as Saint Nick and have kids sit on his lap and ask what they want for Christmas and stuff. But after the toy store closes, him and his coworkers have a party. When still dressed as Santa Claus, poor Billy gets drunk and ends up just finally snapping, just losing his mind, and goes on a quest to deck the halls with chunks of bodies. Yeah, he dons an axe and just goes on a murder spree. What's interesting about this movie is it's very psychological. And the first half, or first third, or whatever, is almost like an in-depth character study. There's not a lot of horror movies where we really get to know everything that led up to the villain becoming the killer. So, and he's kind of the protagonist and the antagonist at the same time, too, which is also interesting. Robert Bryan Wilson, who plays Billy, does a really good job. He's very believable. And like I said, Lillian Shalvin is excellent as Mother Superior. She just gives me chills, and I really hated her character, that's how good she was. And did she even know she was in a horror movie? She was just so believable. But anyway, yeah, it's a really fun one to watch. during the Christmas season. But as I said before, the second half is more your kind of standard, generic, by-the-numbers slasher fare, just a body count, and, Billy dressed as old Saint Nick, just, offing people we don't really care about, but it's still very amusing nonetheless, and some moments are unintentionally funny, but this one plays it more seriously. It's very dark, very very grim, very bleak, hopeless, mean-spirited movie with a very cruel, nasty tone. And of course, Scream Factory did a great job with this Blu-ray. There's a reversible cover, of course, like always. Lots of special features. Great stuff. Yeah, very, very enjoyable flick. I watch it every Christmas. And yes, I do really love the sequel, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. I hated this movie when I first watched it, but it's just grown on me over the years. I think this is the ultimate so bad it's good flick. Screw Troll 2. This movie is just the ultimate guilty pleasure. It's just, so enjoyable. It's a terrible, terrible movie. One of the worst ever made, but it's awesome because it's just so darn hilarious. The biggest flaw here is that it recaps 40 minutes at least of footage from the first Silent Night, Deadly Night, but it concerns Billy's younger brother Ricky, who's also all grown up and is ready to dress as Santa Claus and don the axe and do some Christmas cleaning of his own, punishing the naughty, anybody who's on his naughty list, pretty much, and he goes after Mother Superior too, which is really cool, even though she's played by a different actress, so it's kind of lessens the impact. But yeah, this movie is just freaking hilarious. Where the first one had some unintentional comedy, but it was mostly played, serious. It was very, very depressing, very sad movie. This movie just takes the total opposite direction. That it's just a freaking riot. Eric Freeman as Ricky is just so much fun to watch. Garbage Day, so much over the top acting, so many bad lines and dialogue. It's just so funny. Yeah, and I usually watch these back to back every Christmas. So it is unfortunate that this recaps so much footage, though Ricky's commentary is hilarious. Eric Freeman's ever twitching eyebrows and just just the way he delivers all those cheesy lines. Yeah, just a very, very fun flick. Very funny movie. I just had to talk about it once again. I know I've discussed it before in this channel, but this isn't on the list, by the way. I'm just mentioning it here because I talked about the first song I did tonight. But yeah, I suggest you check it out. And what I usually do when I watch them back to back is fast forward most of the scenes from the first one. Though, like I said, Ricky's commentary is a riot. Yeah, this movie's just such a hoot. But anyway, the number one Christmas slasher is, of course, say it with me now, Black Christmas. The original 1973 horror classic. Was there any doubt? 74, sorry. Was there any doubt? Yeah, this was before Halloween. It inspired movies like When a Stranger Calls and even Scream. Yeah, basically, it's a sorority house that in a college town that's receiving obscene phone calls from an unknown assailant. And it turns out he's actually in the attic. Yeah, it's that old urban legend, the calls are coming from inside of the house, but it's done very well here. It's interesting in that the killer, we don't actually know hardly anything about him. We just know that he identifies himself as Billy, and has association with somebody named Agnes, and he's a very, very mouthy pervert who, says all kinds of vulgar, nasty, graphic things to these women in the sorority house, and before he starts killing them one by one. Yeah, Scream Factory did this Blu-ray release as well. It has a reversible cover. Very enjoyable flick, and it's interesting that the director Bob Clark also directed A Christmas Story. So he did what many consider the ultimate Christmas film and the ultimate Christmas horror film. He also directed Porky's. The man's had a very interesting filmography. But anyway, Black Christmas is the number one Christmas slasher flick, and just Christmas horror in general. If you haven't seen it yet, please do your favor and check it out. It's very, very, very good. It stars Olivia Hussey and Margot Kidder, who are both no strangers to the horror genre. Margot Kidder was, of course, in Amityville Horror. Olivia Hussey was in Psycho 4, It, and a few others. But yeah, Black Christmas. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed my video. Let me know what your favorite Christmas slashers or just Christmas horror in general films are in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching my late night spook show here on the Horror and Metal channel. I'm Hellhound, and happy holidays. Later.